So we've been running the Annapurna Base Camp trail for many years now, and we've never experienced the adverse effects of altitude related illness with anybody who's ever been with us on a trip. And the reason for it is because of the way that we choose to run these trips. We take a very slow, steady pace. We are very much on your case about ensuring that you're eating well, that you're drinking well, you're staying hydrated, and we're getting as much rest as possible. And because we are just touching 4,150, which is the Annapurna Base Camp altitude, and then descending immediately the next day, and already going almost back to the 2000s, the high 2000s, when we descend the next day. Typically, we find that people don't generally suffer too much from altitude. Now, having said that, at Annapurna Base Camp, that's usually where any issues that may arise do arise. And typically, people will get a little bit of a headache, definitely some shortness of breath or some general feeling of fatigue because we're above 4,000 meters, which is where this would normally be felt. But again, it's because of the limited amount of time that we spend up there and we immediately descend afterwards, the exposure is very limited. That with our acclimatization schedule, which is very well made for this altitude. So that means that we trek up and down, up and down, up and down, touch higher altitude, drop down to lower altitude on a daily basis in the lead up to reaching our highest altitude of the trip, 4,150. Typically, people are very well acclimatized for this experience. So if you don't want to run into trouble, just remember the golden rule is eat well, drink well, take a steady pace, and try to rest as much as you can. If you do those things, generally you will not have a problem.